Good morning, Rotary Club of Centennial. Apologize for the last-minute substitution, but Samantha is sick, and she called me at 7 o'clock and said, can you help me out? So I'm going to help her out. Yeah. So let's start with the pledge. Rob? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Rob, you have the inspiration too. Very active new member.
Great. Okay. Oh, it's always on. Sorry. Okay. Rotary and polio. Poliomyelitis, or polio, is a paralyzing and potentially fatal disease that still threatens children in some parts of the world. Poliovirus invades the nervous system and can cause total paralysis in hours. It can strike people of any age, but mainly affects children under 5. Polio can be prevented by vaccines, but it is not curable. Unlike most diseases, polio can be eradicated. Polio Plus. For more than 30 years, Rotary and its partners have driven the effort to eradicate polio worldwide. The Polio Plus program was the first initiative to tackle global polio eradication by vaccinating children on a massive scale. As a core partner in the global polio eradication initiative, Rotary focuses on advocacy, fundraising, volunteer recruitment, and awareness building. Rotary members have contributed $1.9 billion in countless volunteer hours to protect more than 2.5 billion children in 122 countries from this paralyzing disease. Rotary's advocacy efforts have played a role in decisions by governments to contribute more than $8 billion in this effort. Polio Today. With our partners, polio cases have been reduced by 99.9% from 350,000 cases in 125 countries in 1988 to just 33 cases caused by the wild virus in 2018. Only 2 countries continue to report cases of wild polio virus, Afghanistan and Pakistan. The infrastructure we helped build to end polio is also being used to treat and prevent other diseases and create lasting impact in other areas of public health. Challenges. Rotary and our partners have made tremendous progress against polio, but eliminating all cases is going to take even more progress and perseverance. Afghanistan and Pakistan face unique challenges, including political insecurity, high mobile populations, difficult terrain, and in some instances, logistical barriers. With sufficient resources, the commitment of national governments and innovations that improve access to remote areas, we are optimistic that we can eliminate polio. As a side note, if all eradication efforts stop today, within 10 years, polio could paralyze as many as 200,000 children each year. Ensuring success. Rotary has committed to raising $50 million per year for polio eradication. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has pledged to match that 2-for-1 for a total commitment of $150 million each year. These funds provide much-needed operational support, medical workers, laboratory equipment, and educational materials. Government, corporations, and private donors all play a crucial role in funding. Each year, Rotary sets aside one day called World Polio Day, where clubs across the globe are encouraged to hold events and fundraisers to recognize progress in the global fight to end polio. That day this year is October 24th.
All right. All right, Mr. Peterson, do you have a Rotary Minute for us? Tim's already forgot.
Well, good morning, everybody. As you all know, Water Rico is coming down the line, and things are in motion and things are happening. So what I wanted to say today is, on the Rotary Minute, is gratitude. We've had more than 10 people donate to help our people go to Puerto Rico, and with that, it's going to make it a lot easier for our people to function. So what I want to say is thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, John. And I have the business minute. John, would you mind? Once again, this is that presentation that didn't show 2 weeks ago. So this was the film that the Better Business Bureau made when we were nominated for the Torch Award last year. Yep. Hi, my name's Tim Eunice. I'm the President and CEO of the Visual Ed Science and Design, Inc. One of the things that makes us unique in the sign business is that we're not a franchise. We take on projects that other sign companies would rather say, no thank you, and we're very successful with it. You know, the BBB is important to every company. Recognition is always good. Come on. It would be kind of the culmination of being recognized for how we do business. It's not very often that we get an opportunity to be recognized, and this is that opportunity. Every quote that goes out of my business has a line on it that says, your total satisfaction is our final goal. We live by that, and hopefully we'll never die by that. It's hard to keep your commitment sometimes, but if being ethical was easy, more people would do it. Okay, so thank you to the custodians. Paul, looks like you're starting to do your old thing again. And Tom Buck, I guess, is going to take down. Okay, all right. And Scott, thank you for being a greeter. I felt very well greeted this morning. And Rob, thanks for that pledge. It's the best pledge I heard all week. They don't show it on the preseason games anymore. Let's see here. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? Okay. I know that we have a bunch of guests, so I'll start with Mark.
I have a guest today, Bill Vobak. I'm going to give him a chance to say hello.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. My name is Bill Vobak. I'm a patent attorney here in town and interested
1001 ways to explore and enjoy
Thanks.
I heard everything up to patent attorney, and then
brought his own little presentation. Welcome, Bill.
Go ahead.
I have a guest today, and not including our speaker, who I'll introduce later, but my wife, Susan, is here also to support our speaker. I think most of you know she is on the board of directors of South Suburban, and she's the secretary of South Suburban Park and Rec District. So always pleased to have her show up and be here and support me, too.
Thank you. Welcome. Deb Jessup, you have some guests, I think. Of course, I just got you mid-bite. That's fine. We practiced that.
I know.
Yeah.
You did well. My first guest is Emily, and she is from the Chamber.
Good morning. I don't know how to use a microphone. Emily Martini with South Metro Denver Chamber. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you.
Oh, do I have? Okay. So I am an account manager and business development director for the Chamber. We're the regional chamber in the South Metro area. We're fairly large and really diverse. We have about 750 members. They range from tropical smoothie cafe and independent realtors and patent attorneys to Lockheed Martin. So really diverse group, and we would love for Rotary to consider membership. I believe this club has been a member in the past. We had different leadership at the Chamber at that time, so some things have changed, but our overall mission is the same. We support businesses and nonprofits in the South Metro region. A big way that we do that I think would be super beneficial to the Rotary is creating environments where relationships can be built. So we have about 150 events a year, and every time I say that I get anxiety, because we really do, I've counted. And those events range from business after hours monthly to our Women in Business speaker series to our Health and Wellness Coalition speaker series. Really intriguing topics and really intriguing panelists. The reason we do that is because you can build relationships when you're in an environment that stimulates conversation. So we really work to have good programming. So I would love for Rotarians to come and check us out. I did bring cards, so you can ask me questions or email with interest, but come to an event. Come to our Women in Business speaker series on the 6th, or our Health and Wellness speaker series. We're doing an active shooter training on the 12th. Come to our business after hours. See if you think it would be a good fit for Rotary. I think we can really help with awareness. I think we can really help grow membership. And we're always looking for new and different perspectives at the Chamber. That's what makes us powerful. I know a few of the members here, and you guys have great perspectives, so we'd love to have you in our room.
Thank you. I'd also like to introduce Will Kelly. He's back again from the Avalanche.
I'm back again. Tough to follow after Emily. She's way more well-spoken than I am. But yeah, with the Colorado Avalanche here, had a chance to meet with Deborah and Gordon as a follow-up to being at the meeting here a couple weeks back. And we had a chance to sit down over lunch and talk about the future of this partnership. I'll leave a lot of the communication and planning to Deborah, but we are looking at putting a night together for your guys' Rotary Club at the Colorado Avalanche game, probably in like the winter or springtime. So I mean, as we get more details, we'll definitely keep you posted, but did just want to show back up, show my face, continue to meet more of you guys and learn more about the work you're doing here in the Colorado area.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Will. Could I just very briefly get a show of hands? Would people like to go to an Avalanche game during the week? During the week or on the weekend? This is week. Either?
Either one.
Either, doesn't matter. Okay, we've got some dates in mind, so by the next meeting I'll throw some dates out and we'll see what we can get going here. And we're supposedly being challenged by the Highlands Ranch group, except I've not heard from them yet. So we'll see. She's not ready for me, you're right.
Okay, so we do have a couple of birthdays. One is Pam Johnson, Rob's lovely wife, August 23rd. All right, and Peggy Shattuck just had her birthday on the 16th, correct? Okay. And then we do have, we had a wedding anniversary on the 14th. That was Ken and Cindy Hope, I'm sorry. 48 years, Ken?
Correct.
You still married?
I think I am.
It was a week ago, right? And on the 18th, yesterday, John and Barbara McCarty, 50 years. 50 years. And they said it wouldn't last. Okay, we get into club business here. Now, this is Samantha's agenda, and since Samantha is not here today, Rob, I hope you don't mind if we push off your induction until next week, because as a president, that's kind of one of the fun things to do. So, but Rob has been voted in as a member, so we'll do the formal induction. Formal induction will be next week. What's that?
Does he get credit for the pledge and inspiration?
Gee, I don't know. I'll have to check the bylaws for that, Phil. Thanks for bringing that up, though. Peach sales, everything's due today. Has everybody got their peach sales in? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Barb, what's the count? Barb, what's the count? Really?
Barb has no idea because I have a bunch that were just given to me last night and this morning. And I have not turned mine in to Barb, but I've got some numbers for her, so we should know here fairly soon. And remember, those who sell the most, besides Samantha and myself, get a very, very good prize. And it's a secret. So just get out there and sell. I talked with John Peterson, and I think what we're going to do is get 10 additional boxes, and I'm going to split it up between the 18-pound and the 10-pound. So if you do have somebody that comes along before we get together on the 31st, there will be some extra that will be available for sale. And I know typically on that day where I've been with the other club, people walk up, in the parking lot and say, hey, can I buy some? So that will be available. Right now, I have not talked with the people at the orchard yet, but according to our flyer, they're going to be here, and we will be giving out peaches from 9:30 to 11:30 on the 31st.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Hope, would you like to talk about underwear?
Hey, I changed mine this morning. As you know, we're doing our underwear drive for Integrated Family Community Services. I made my usual trip to the Little Girl Underwear at Walmart yesterday.
I heard there was an APB out for an old guy in the little girl's underwear section.
I had a little disguise on. So anyway, just an example, I bought a little, like a 14-pack of little girl panties for like $10.88. So there's lots of bargains out there. I will not be here next week, so I'm entrusting this to Mark Gale. Where's Mark? Is he here? So Mark Gale, he's going to try to fill in. And anyway, so we want to get about 500 by the end of the month. So think about it. And when you're shopping at Walmart or Target or Kohl's or wherever, pick up some underwear. The boys are small, medium, and large, and the little girls actually have sizes. So just kind of randomly, we'll get a good distribution at the end of the month. So I appreciate everybody thinking about that.
Sounds good. All right. Number 4 on her list is the Diverse Perspectives Book Club. A reminder, September's book is Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. Okay, you want to write that? You want to put that in the newsletter? Okay. Mark, did you want to talk at all about training on Saturday?
Puerto Rico is having a training on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Even though we kind of know who will be coming with us, if any of you want to help us out with the training, it would be great to see you there.
Okay, you have to tell them where.
It's 1 o'clock at Tim Eunice's sign shop.
Okay, if any of you don't have the address, if you want to
The
come.
award-winning Tim Eunice's sign shop.
But if you need the address, just email me. Okay. Any other club business before I move on? Yes, Phil.
Just one thing. On this coming Saturday is going to be the dedication for the adaptive playground for that Aurora Rotary spearhead.
For the Falcon? Falcon Park?
No, it's Red Tail Hawk.
Red Tail Hawk, a Falcon Red Tail Hawk, something like
the
that.
dedication is going to be this Saturday. So,
what time is that?
I'm not sure, but you can check with the city of Aurora.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 9 o'clock, and just so that you know, I had a Sean on my attendance and neglect docket. I had to do not resuscitate him because he had been a shaken baby. They gave the baby to the grandfather in Colorado, who shook him again. But he is blind. He is not verbal. The foster mom has adopted 5 special needs kids. She's amazing. So go.
Give that woman a microphone so I can hear her.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am leaving out of town on the 24th, but I'm going to try and go to the thing, and Jamie would love to meet you all. She's the mom. She's amazing.
Well, thank you. For those
and I did their adoption.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, our club has contributed $5,000 to that project.
We have a brick that John Berry
Microphone. Yep.
To recognize our contribution, they evidently have bricks either on the wall or on the ground, and we will have a brick. And when you see that brick, John Berry crafted the message, and I forget what it is, but they were all 7 words we were allowed. But it was a really a great message, and I thought represented our club well.
I didn't know John knew 7 words.
I was trying to be nice to John for a change.
I know more than 7 words that I can't say.
Yeah, I know. They're all the ones you can't say on TV. Mary Alice, please.
Thank you. On your table this morning, there's a flyer about a social that we're proposing for September the 7th. It will be at our house in the yard. And from the pictures on the paper, you can see some of the things we're going to do. It's going to be at 4, probably 4 to around 7. I'm not asking for I'm asking for sign-ups today, just so I know how many people. And then next week I'll bring back a sign-up list because we're doing it as a potluck, since it is a social. So if you can come and would like to come, please sign the sheet this morning, and then I'll get back with you next week on sign-ups for potluck.
Thank you. Would you give the microphone
Family,
to Ann?
kids too.
Go ahead, Ann.
Ann. Karen Barry, we've got ribs and racing this weekend, right? Who's handling that?
Well, I am. There are signups on the website, but if you want to go, I mean, we're going to go to the Famous Dave's. Where's the Famous Dave's? North Glen, Thornton, like at 5 o'clock, and then head over to the racetrack afterwards. And you can just buy tickets there once we get to the racetrack. So are you interested in going? Anybody else interested in going? Joining us?
We might. We haven't talked about it yet.
Okay, well, let me know.
The point I wanted to make is that we sat down and we really scratched our heads and talked about all of the social activities. And if no one goes, that was a wasted effort. So, and because Karen enjoys racing, and we've got that down, and then we've got other things down. So pay attention, please, because this was for the club as a whole. I used to be the social director, but I gave it up hoping that someone would pick it up, and no one did. But this group has worked hard, and please follow through with that.
Okay, so with that, do we have any travel gifts? Oh, I couldn't see you. Sorry, Randy.
Sorry, this is impromptu. As our members will recall, we do a journal project at Heritage Elementary where we give journals to the third grade class to help improve their writing skills and literacy. I haven't coordinated with the school yet, but I'm going to try to set it up so that we go deliver the templates, tell them what they're doing, and get that going because the teacher likes to get them as soon as possible so she can incorporate them into her lesson plan. So I will send an email out to the club, but if you're interested, I will try to set it up so we can go right after the meeting next week. It's usually just, it takes about 15 minutes in there to talk to all the little smiling third grade faces. So I will email everybody, but if you would let me think about it and see if you can make a little bit of time. And then a week or two after that, we go back, deliver the kids all their journals, maybe 3 weeks after that, and show them their beautiful artwork and provide them their journals. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Randy. Yes, Roxy.
Sorry. On the Red Tail Hawk Park, I do have the flyer for it, and I'll email it to everyone. And it gives the time, I believe it's at 9 in the morning. And if it's at 9 in the morning on Saturday, how many people from our club are interested in going? So really just a couple of us. Okay. Kimberly just wanted to have an idea of how many from our club might be there. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, travel gifts. Anybody have travel gifts? I guess not. Okay. Barb, Happy Bucks? Wow.
All right, I have one. Well, Andres was faster than you, so
I got two. It's always good to be here. I'm happy it's Tuesday and I'm at Rotary. And the second one is for the Rockies. They're like the cucaracha, so they're still alive.
That's the name of it.
They're only 9 back out of the wild.
I have one. Saturday, that's where the pictures came from. Saturday, John and I went up to Como. And that place has sprouted. If you haven't been up to Como recently, go on up because the depot is great. I always want to say circle, but the roundhouse is been redone, and it's amazing from what it used to be a dilapidated place. And maybe next year we could go as a social.
Okay, this table.
So Team H2 has 5 between the two of us. I wanted to give an update. I'm not sure if how many of you knew, but my mom has been held up with surgery. I will say as a daughter going in to meet with the orthopedic surgeon, it was a little hard. And she's a toughie. And she's doing really well. God willing, we only have 2 more weeks of this stupid antibiotic for those of you who didn't know, she had an infection in her knee and only 2 more weeks of that stupid ball. And hopefully mid-September she'll be back. She's really hoping to be there for peach sales, and Barb, she's got a lot for you, so hold out. Just we're on the upswing. It's been a rough 4 weeks, so just thank you for everyone's prayers. And she's getting antsy. She's got a new walker, and so if you have time to go visit her, give her a call. She's finally back on the upswing, so just thank you for everyone here. That was one. My other buck, I had an interesting, Eric and I leave for Kenya in a few weeks, and of course you have to get the magnitude of shots, and I thought this was interesting with us as regards to polio, is that there's a band in Africa where polio is coming back, to the point that the woman that I met, the nurse that I met with, recommended that I get a polio booster as an adult. So for those of you who wonder about polio and our effects and the importance of continuing with that, it's not gone. And to the point that if you are going to some of these countries, I had it as a baby. Now I'm going back to get another vaccination. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then.
And I have one big one. My daughter Ashley, who's a freshman at Appalachian High School in Georgia, ran her first ever cross-country race the other day. And she was on the depth chart going into the season. She was like maybe 10th out of 15 runners. And coming out of the woods into the finish line, she was number 2 and made varsity her first shot.
All right.
Hi, I've got 2 happy bucks for our guests, Emily and Will, at our table. Thank you for coming.
Just happy.
Happy 5. I'm delighted to finally meet Emily. We've been talking a lot, and of course it's always great to see Will and get him back here. I'm also really, really happy that just in time for the peaches arriving, my freezer conked out in the garage. So, you are so strange. Anyway, so today I'm getting a new freezer.
I have $1. That's for Scott, Dr. Scott, who's got my wife hearing very, very well again, but she may ask for that $1 back. She's got to listen to me.
Yeah. I'm glad to be back from Greece. My wife and I celebrated our 50th anniversary and had a wonderful time.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
They're getting luggage that didn't make it home.
Greece, Kenya, all these good gifts we're going to get.
Today would have been my mother's 100th birthday. She died last September, so happy birthday.
I have one. So my son Jared, who's the pilot, 2.5 years ago when he went down to Vegas to start his piloting that he was doing down there, he had one class to finish his degree at Metro State, his aviation degree. And I was on him constantly about just take it, because he could have done an online class. Just get it done, get it done. Well, he never listened. He finally got a girlfriend down there who's going back for her master's, so I think she was the impetus. He's now home, and he's signed up for, now he has to take 2 classes, and he's being a TA for one of his professors to get enough credits to get his degree. So I'm happy that he's back and pursuing to get his degree.
I just have $1 to thank the club for allowing Eric's Boy Scout troop to glom on to our peach sales and let us buy peaches, let the Boy Scouts sell peaches through the club. So hopefully there will be a number of scouts there helping unload 2 weeks from now, 1 week from now.
Anybody over here? Just happy. Just happy. Anybody else just happy? All right, how about this table?
2 happy bucks. The first one for Jeannie Henshin. Our prayers are for her. And number 2, the happy for the donors of our Water Rico project and the 5 people from our club that are going down there. And I just want everybody to know that we're not done. If you want to donate or if you still want to go, we could still work you in.
Cindy and I babysat this weekend. Our grandson is 2.5 and our granddaughter is 4.5, and they're very, very busy. I heard from my daughter yesterday, and she reports to me that my grandson went to the doctor, but he's okay.
I have 3. One, nice to meet Bill. Nice to meet Susan. And Rob, thanks for being here and speaking today.
I have 3. Bill, great to see you. Susan, great to see you. And after 20 long months, my daughter and the boyfriend have moved out of the basement.
I have 2. Yes. And I can do an IOU if you need to. I don't want all those ones. Please don't do that to me.
2 out of
All right, never mind. One is for our guest today. Bill, good to have you here. Emily, it's really good to see you. And we did a partnership a long time ago with the the South Metro Denver Chamber. And if we can create that again, I think we might be interested. But we'll have to leave that to the real president, not the stand-in president.
Chopped liver now.
And the other one is for our speaker today. Rob, we're really glad to have you here.
I have one more, and this happy buck is so Deb will feel happier. This week, not only did my refrigerator compressor go out, the motherboard on the stove went out, the dryer quit spinning, and the sink stopped up. Just saying.
Call Trip. You might as well put in a new kitchen. Okay, I have 2. One is a thank you for all of our guests showing up. That's just great. And the second one is kind of a sad buck because I can't go to Puerto Rico, but it's for business reasons because I have 2 major high-rise projects going on in September. I just can't get away. But please, if you can go, please go. Okay, with that, I would like for our former president and former mayor to announce our speaker.
I hate that word, former. Past. Well, it is a real honor and
You're okay.
It's an honor because I've known Rob Hanna, who is the executive director of the South Suburban Park and Recreation District, for a long time. And as the mayor, I used to watch him in Castle Rock, where he was at the time I was mayor, and think this is the only time I believe that the city of Centennial might want to bring something in-house if we could get him to run the park district or park for the city of Centennial. It was a fleeting, but it was a thought. Rob has been in the park and recreation district industry, not district industry, but industry, for about 25 years. And he has been absolutely amazing with the things that he has done. He is a certified parks and recreation professional and a registered landscape architect. So if you have something with your yard that you want to talk to him about, he'll stay afterwards. No. 18 of those 25 years Rob spent at Castle Rock, as I mentioned, and he created some amazing things down there. One of those, I'm going to touch on 2 things. One of those is the Philip S. Miller Park, which is a 300-acre park down there. If you have never been there, you should go. It has every amenity any park could possibly want, all the way from Adventure Tower or something like Epic Tower. You've got splash pads, they've got an amphitheater, they've got indoor and outdoor turf fields. I mean, it's like everything that you could possibly want. So he was instrumental in making that happen. The other thing that he was instrumental in was the ability to create an intergovernmental agreement with Douglas County School District with the parks so that they could leverage their assets and neither one have to expend different dollars to bring the community together in different parks and things like that, which is amazing. Being one who has negotiated with the Douglas County School District, that is no small feat. You were giving them something. I was only asking for something.
Better than the railroad.
That is true. That is true. Through his vision at Castle Rock, they won the gold medal award from the National Recreational Park Association, and they were also nationally accredited through CAPRA. But luckily, in 2015, we were smart enough to bring him here to the South Suburban Park and Recreation District. And he hasn't rested on his laurels while he's been here. He has done an entire new master plan for the district. He has done he has actually annexed the Ridge Gate in Lone Tree, the eastern portion, into the park district, and they'll be developing that. And he's done a rebranding, which he's going to, I think, show a bit of here in just a moment, of the Parks and Recreation District. Because the old logo, if you remember the old logo, really didn't say what the Park and Recreation District really encompassed, and he was instrumental in making that happen, along with his board of directors. Susan. I know, I got it in. So do me a favor, help me welcome somebody I really admired for a long time, Rob Hanna, the executive director.
Thank you, Randy. I really appreciate that. I will. That warm welcome. Hard to live up to that introduction. But yeah, it's been 25 years in Parks and Recreation. That's where the gray hair is coming from. Before long, I'll look like Randy and actually lose it all. But time's coming. Still has a beautiful wife, though, so I feel fortunate that I can still keep my wife, hopefully. So Susan's one of my 5 bosses. So I work for elected officials, very challenging, to say the least. Some are better than others, I will have to admit. And being in the business for 25 years, as you can imagine, I've had some pretty interesting elected officials as bosses. But if you want to hear those stories, the conferences that we went to and the stories that come to that afterwards will be a good time for that. So South Suburban. As Randy said, came here just over 4 years ago. Huge district, almost 50 square miles. We encompass 6 different municipalities, 4 different school districts, and 3 different counties. Both Douglas, Arapahoe, and then a small portion of Jefferson County. So in essence, you add all those elected officials to the mix, and it becomes very interesting very quickly. So our newest annexation was the Ridgegate East. So now we encompass about 155,000 residents within the district, and really provide a full range of services. And we produced this video that kind of encompasses that. So we'll go ahead and show that video here real quick, and I think it will give you some insights to exactly what we do.
1,001 ways to explore and enjoy South Suburban Parks and Recreation. The math is simple. We're just going to add. Ready? Go. 1 disc golf course, 2 skate parks, 1 BMX track, 2 miniature golf courses, more than 100 parks. Let me repeat that. More than 100 parks, covering thousands of acres of open space and green grass. 4 recreation centers, serving more than 150,000 residents. 1 new multi-generational community center in Lone Tree. 100 miles of trails. Are you kidding me? We got trails for walkers, runners, bikers, strollers, big dogs, little dogs. You get the point. 4 golf courses, regulation, executive, and par 3. 61 fun-loving, energy-draining playgrounds for kids of all ages. 2 ice arenas, each with 2 sheets of ice. That's 4 places to skate. 1 super sweet nature center, where we offer 57 summer and lots of year-round nature programs, like gold panning. Yeah, you can keep what you find. And everything birds. Catch a glimpse of the South Suburban celebrity osprey family, or get up close with some birds of prey. 1 indoor sports field, 4 restaurants, and one of them has free music on the patio. 77 yoga classes. Namaste. 4 outdoor swimming pools, 3 indoor swimming pools, 73 aquatics classes for all skill levels and ages, 2 mermaid classes. I'm not kidding, 2 mermaid classes, 137 baseball, softball, lacrosse, and soccer fields. Parents, get comfy. You'll be spending a lot of time on these. 50 tennis courts and 81 tennis camps, classes, and tournaments to play on them. 9 batting cages, 1 hotel with 15 guest suites, 12 racquetball courts, 1 creativity lab challenging hundreds of young minds every year, 3 indoor running tracks, 1 regionally recognized gymnastics gym to handle dozens of gymnastics programs, 15 pickleball courts, and because it's one of the fastest growing sports, we recently added 6 lighted courts at Cornerstone Park, 1 pottery studio and 36 pottery classes, 131 silver sneakers and silver and fit programs for healthy aging, 7 miles of South Platte River to enjoy all types of water activities, tubing, kayaking for the experienced and beginners, and of course fishing. 3 classes of duplicate bridge. That's right, taking tricks at the Hub in Lone Tree. 1 multi-purpose public garden and event facility connecting people with the natural world. 7 indoor basketball courts and 1 yappy hour for our 4-legged district residents. There you have it, 1,001 ways to explore and enjoy South Suburban. Discover more today. Oh, there's more? Wait for me. 1 warm water therapy pool, 1 heated driving range, 5 weight rooms, 4 softball tournaments.
So thank you. As you can see, the end of that was our new logo. So it tried to encompass a little bit of the 1,001 things that we do for the community, because a lot of people really don't know who provides their service with a special district. So how many of you live in the district? Almost half. So yeah, a lot of your neighbors have no idea who are providing, and that's fine. You know, we don't care. You know, who takes the credit for it. But we do this with funding. We get about 8 mills from your property tax. 1 mil of that goes towards debt. We were successful with a bond issue a year ago, last November. I'll show you the main project that's coming from that. And then our revenue sources are about 45% come from those property tax, that 8 mil. If you own a house that's valued about $350,000, you pay about $200 a year to the district for all those services. So 45% of our revenue stream comes from property tax. Another 45% comes from user fees. So some of our programs we do charge fees for, especially golf and some of the specialized facilities and programs that we offer. And then the rest comes from grants and partnerships. So just like in Castle Rock, partnerships in South Suburban are very key. So those 6 municipalities, those 3 counties, those 4 school districts that I mentioned, we have very strong partnerships. Arapahoe County Open Spaces, the sales tax for that, we get a lot of funding and partnerships from Arapahoe County, both through grants and just through special projects. They help us plan and maintain some of the Highline Canal. They do a lot of the grant projects are for replacement of playgrounds. So we'll go in, we'll replace playgrounds every 10 to 15 years as standards change, as things wear out, as parts aren't available. So we'll redo anywhere from 5 to 10 parks every year. We spend about $8 million just on renovating and repairing old parks and facilities. That's something new when I came on board, to make sure that we reinvested in our older facilities, because South Suburban's pretty old, about a little bit older than I am. So it was incorporated back in 1959. Originally, there was a group that was established that the facility up in Sheridan, Fort Logan, yes. They thought that that was going to be available for sale. So this small group of grassroots folks got together and they created a district, because they thought that they were going to be able to purchase that for the community. Well, that never happened, but Harlow Pool came along about the same time. South Suburban Ice Arena came along about the same time. So the district did incorporate, and they did some great things. They expanded out to almost 60 square miles of facilities, but Cherry Hills Village and Inglewood used to be in our district. They are not anymore, but we did again annex Lone Tree. So we are growing as a district and doing some great things. So with that, we're building a new regional recreation facility off of County Line and Holly. Davidson Liquors, if anybody knows where that's at. Pretty good geographic landmark that I've always wanted an office next door to a liquor store, so fixing to come true. Now, if I could only live within a walking distance of a bar, that would be great as well too. Yeah, and the grill. So this is our new project. It's a $60 million investment into the community. As I said, a lot of that was from the bond issue that passed. We're also issuing certificates of participation. Luckily, the bond market is in our favor. We issued $35 million in COPs about 2 weeks ago, and we're going to do a second issue October 1st for the remainder, $30 million. But our rates have been very, very good. So the site plan, as I indicated, is off of, so that's really not going very well. So County Line Road up at the top, Holly is just to the right. If any of you guys played disc golf, this is where the old disc golf was. That was always intended to be a temporary facility. The district paid $4 million for this site back in 1997, so that's a pretty expensive disc golf investment. So this facility, we'll zoom in here in a minute, will include 3 sheets of ice, 2 indoor turf with boards, 2 indoor gymnasiums, pickleball, volleyball, basketball, and then we're moving all of our central admin offices to this site. So there's 60 some odd offices and cubicles that almost half of our employees, full-time employees, will come. Right now we have 241 full-time employees, 1,500 part-time and seasonal employees that work for the district. Support facilities included all the parking and whatnot. Still kind of a blow up. You can see where the 3 sheets of ice are. Central viewing area, restaurant bar area in there, central lobby, restrooms. We'll have a formal area for the board of directors to meet. Right now we meet in a preschool area of Goodson, which is sometimes appropriate for the board. We do pull out the big girl chairs, so you don't have to sit in the little bitty ones. But it's kind of funny. You look around. There's the ABCs on the wall, and play nice in the sandbox and things like that. So when the public does come, all we have to do is point to those little reminders of playing nice in the sandbox. So this will be the first time that we've actually had a formal board area. Also, we'll accommodate rentals as well too for some of our large user groups. Everybody's always looking for rooms to rent, whether it's Rotary clubs or different nonprofits and HOAs and things like that. And then again, up top is the gymnasium area that again can be lined for lots of different sports, and then the indoor turf as you go through there. Locker rooms, of course, associated. The center ice is kind of our main ice. We can sit 800 people in there. We're working with the local school districts in our area. A lot of these kids are practicing at 6 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock at night. So the 2 sheets replace the old sheets at South Suburban Ice Arena. Again, that facility is 50 years old, and it's at the end of its useful life. We did an analysis to see how much it was going to cost to renovate it. It was actually cheaper to buy a new facility than it was to renovate that 50-year-old facility. So that's why we're doing this project. And then once you're building something, of course, it's always easier to build a little bit of expansion at the time as opposed to trying to come back. So the 3rd sheet really is for future use, but future use for this facility will probably last about 3 months, and then it will be full again, based upon the demand and the market analysis that we've done. Again, this will be a very nice project within the district, and hopefully will be something that we can all be proud of when we open. We're planning on opening November of 2020, which is just around the corner. If you've driven by the site, they did take a while to get the grade right. It was pretty steep in there, so we actually were able to grab some additional soil from our existing site just to the west, bring it over and bring that up. They're fixing to start on foundations next. So 200,000 square foot facility, so almost as big as the IKEA building that's down the road. So it is a massive undertaking. It is a pre-manufactured building, so they come in with the steel, and then they'll just put the facades on and do the end. It's really just one big open area of clear span space. So other projects that we're working on, as I think Randy mentioned, we're redoing 3 of our 4 outdoor pools, some of which, again, Harlow was built in the early 60s. We're replacing Harlow, Holly, and Franklin pools. Cook Creek Pool down in Lone Tree was done just a few years ago, so it's still in great shape. We reinvested some money into that last year, but moving forward, there's some great new things coming in South Suburban. Again, Ridgegate East is in full swing. We've been meeting with the developers. That development will basically double the size of Lone Tree. Recreation-wise, it will have a 60-acre regional park that will include lighted ball fields and other amenities along Happy Canyon Creek. It includes 4 elementary schools, 1 high school, middle school campus, as well as a number of different community neighborhood parks that will be in combination with those schools and standalone as well too. So we expect that development to start very quickly. The developer and the home builder, Shea Homes, has already taken down the first phase of that and are going through the final process for approvals from Lone Tree with that. So with that will be the first neighborhood park, and then also they're going to dedicate that 65-acre regional park to the city with the first plat as well too. So we'll be looking forward to designing and building that facility as well with the community and bringing that east side into our district as well too. So I know I kind of went through that fast. If there's any questions on how we're made up, our funding, projects, we have plenty of time for questions. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if the newspaper carried this article correctly or not, but where you currently have your ice rink there at Franklin, Vine, and Arapahoe, I read that it was going to take, 30-some years for the the permafrost underneath the ice rinks to thaw out? What are you planning on doing with that facility there?
We hope it won't take 30 years. That's the problem, we don't know. And that was the problem, and that's what drove, that was one of the main reasons that drove the cost of renovating that facility. When that facility was born, there was no vapor barrier or any insulation. So when you have ice sitting on ground, of course it just freezes and freezes and freezes and goes lower and lower. Because of all the piping that's run in the ice and everything, we couldn't drill down to see exactly how deep that ice is. We've had estimates down to 15 feet that they think that it's, so what we would have had to do is during the slow times, gone in, renovated that, scooped out all that ice, bring in new dirt, and do that all without negatively affecting our programs. And that was just not possible, even working through the night. So what we're going to do is we're going to let that thaw, see what happens, and then we're going to get to a process to see what the community would like to see as a reuse of that facility. We've had ideas of everything, of doing an indoor equestrian, jumping and whatnot with all the McRanches that are around in the Highline Canal that's right there. We do have a lot of equestrian use in that area. Gymnastics, our gymnastics program at Goodson is busting at the seams. If we could take that program out of Goodson and then refill that with other programs that are trending very popular right now, we'd like to do that. We've looked at just doing indoor turf and just renting that out, leasing that out to pitching coaches and high schools and whatnot. We always have demands, especially during the winter, for indoor facilities for all types of sports programming and stuff, to just doing various programs in there. So again, once the infrastructure is thawed out, then we'll do. The building itself is in great shape. It's just the rest of the permafrost that causes all the heaving and everything that is the issue in there. So again, look for exciting. The admin building that our offices are in now, we're going to sell that. So we'll be putting that on the market here before long and using the revenues from that facility to offset the cost of the new admin facility wing in this facility.
We know a good realtor.
She doesn't do commercial. Hey. I don't have a question, but I have a comment. And we put up with the change at South Suburban Golf Course for a season, and I love it. I mean, why am I getting emotional? Your restaurant is the place I want to go when I don't want to spend a lot of money, but I want good food. So if you haven't been there, go.
Well, thank you for that. To be honest, our food and beverage, we've struggled with employees. That is, between that and the lifeguards, I don't understand what it is about cooks, but we cannot keep cooks. They'll walk off because they know they've got another job. They got probably 4 jobs that they can just pick up. So we have really struggled in the last 2 years. Ever since really we opened up the new clubhouse there at South Suburban, we've struggled. But I think finally, knock on wood, I think we finally found the right mix of part-time seasonals. We have been combining some part-time positions and making them full-time, to have some more consistency. That seems to have been working. We've also made strides in trying to increase some of our salaries across the board. Benefits, we've worked on increasing benefits to our employees to try and keeping the good employees that we have. But that's where we struggle. Again, we have 1,500 part-time employees, and that is our front line. So, and that's the group that's most hard to communicate with as well too. When I send out an all-employee email, it only goes out to about 300 employees because those other employees, they don't have, so, trying to get them to buy into the vision, mission, goals, and the culture of the district, that's where we struggle with sometimes. And again, these are the people that are most in touch with our customers. Yes, sir.
You talked a little bit about the Highline Canal. I mean, what is whenever I'm on that frequently with the bike and things like that, and you see the signs, Friends of Highline. I mean, what is the long-term, at least, plan for the Highline Canal? Right. And does, is South Suburban essentially adopting or managing parts of it?
Right now, yes. So Denver Water owns the Highline Canal. We lease 7 miles of the trail portion, not the canal portion, from Denver Water, and we have an IGA with them that allows us to maintain and improve that 7 miles. The entire Highline Canal is 71 miles long, Waterton Canyon all the way out to almost the airport. So that was the old delivery system for water of Denver Water, and that's who was responsible for that. Well, obviously, that type of transfer is not the you got evaporation, you've got leaks into the soil. So Denver Water has a goal of eliminating all the users off of that canal within the next 5 years. As a matter of fact, the state water engineer just sent them a letter saying, no, you're going to do it quicker because it's just not an efficient transfer of water. So they're close to doing that. So with that, when you're not running water in the canal, what happens to all the trees along the canal without that water in there? Trees are, one element of at least a lot of the 71 miles that really makes that. So we have a regional group that has been in place for quite some time called the Highline Canal Working Group. Includes Arapahoe County and all the municipalities and districts that are on the canal. And so we've been working for the last 4 years and working with Denver Water and saying, okay, what is the long-term future? We want to preserve it. We see the asset of that. We want to make sure that that's preserved. We don't want the trees to just all of a sudden die. Denver Water doesn't want the trees to all of a sudden start dying because that's a big liability on their portion. So what we're doing is kind of twofold, okay? Who are we going to get to maintain and operate that? Denver Water honestly doesn't want to do that. They don't do recreation. They do water. They do water well. They don't do recreation that well. So they really want to turn that over to somebody. So what that looks like, we don't know yet. This group is right now working on that, see what that governance model looks like. But in the meantime, we're starting stormwater pilot projects where we're introducing the stormwater into the canal that allows for the trees to hopefully survive without that annual or biannual water transfer that goes in there. So there's about 6 different pilot programs from Denver, Inglewood, Littleton, and I think Douglas County's doing one, a big one. Sterling Ranch, of course, is a big one that is in there. So, yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to compliment also on the golf. I have to say Lone Tree, South Suburban, and the back 9 at Littleton are some of the most beautiful courses, and I don't know who your grounds crew is, but a girlfriend and I play all over the metro area, and bar none, and South Suburban greens are some of the meanest, but it's really good to play there. My question actually is, we're tennis players, and tennis in the wintertime doesn't really happen around here because under 40 degrees, your balls don't really bounce. So you have literally 4 indoor courts. What are thoughts of expanding that? Because I'm sure that you can't get court time, period.
Right. Tennis has been around for a long time, but it really hasn't increased. It really hasn't decreased that much. Kind of like golf. It's been very stable. So to be honest with you, we don't have any plans right now to do any more indoor courts. We do have plans to improve the courts at the Littleton bubble and doing a sprung structure instead of the bubble thing, as well as the dome. So we do have some plans in our 5-year CIP to improve those, but right now we don't have any plans to build any additional. Pickleball, to be honest with you, is taking over the tennis facilities just because of the high demand and interest in pickleball. Who knows how long that will last, but right now that is one of the most popular trends that we're seeing right now.
There has to be some type of pickup in tennis because I know they're building a large indoor tennis facility right on Broncos Parkway.
Yeah, so the private tennis facilities are still doing their ebbs and flows, but as far as just a public facility, when you look at the trends and the demands that we see, that is not really moved in what we see. We see increases in other programming other than tennis right now.
The proliferation of these discount gyms and things, does that have any impact on you?
No, actually it doesn't. There's a niche for that. So if you want an a la carte, if you just want to do spinning, that is the way to go. They can do that cheaper than we can ever that. If you want a full service family type of facility that you can do everything as a family we're your number one choice for that, and I think we do that really well. Whether it's the Creativity Lab at Sheridan Rec Center or Pilates and stuff like that. So we really see us working hand in hand with that, just like some of the private, soccer programs that are out there. We take kids from a certain, introductory to recreational, and then there's other people that do the elite stuff a lot better than we do. So there's a way for us to all thrive as an industry together. Yes, sir.
Kind of a thank you to you and your staff. As people know, we have 2 free little libraries, and the original plan was to put them in the Centennial Park, and they had some legal concerns about that. So we approached South Suburban, and keep in mind, our 2 little free libraries are kind of a speck in the universe of everything that you do. And South Suburban staff bent over backwards. We have one at Decoven and Willow Creek, and people went out there. We did locates for utilities, try to figure out where the sprinklers were, and so thank you for allowing us to have our 2 little free libraries at your 2 parks.
Yes, sir.
Have you teamed up with any Rotary clubs in the area to do projects in your district?
At South Suburban, no, other than the little library, as far as I'm aware. We were for a long time running a golf tournament to help the Sheriff's Department's foundation, but that kind of filtered away with the new sheriff, and we worked with Littleton Rotary. In the past, I've worked with Rotary clubs to do projects. We did the big pavilion at the bottom of the Rock Park was funded by Castle Rock Rotary, as well as some other pretty unique opportunities. Those service clubs seem to want to do brick and mortar types of things that they could put plaques on, like the playground and things like that. So we'd welcome any partnership with any service organization that would like to partner with us as well too. So
we have time for 2 more questions.
Like a spring cleanup.
Rob, tell me about the hotel. How'd you get in the hotel business?
Well, so originally, a Texas investor had built 2 hotels, the Lone Tree and then one down in Texas. And the reason that they built the 14 rooms in Colorado is the theory was, well, the Texas folks would come up here during the summer and spend, the weekend or whatever, and then they could go back and play the course at, I think it was around the Dallas area. Well, that model didn't work. So back in, I had my wedding reception there in 1995, so I think it was 1994 or 3 that they bought that off of auction. So it was just a good deal at the time. Same thing with family sports. Family sports is not in the district at all, but there was a sale, and they saw that as an investment into the community. So the district purchased that by issuing COPs, and then as well as the golf course and hotel as well too. So it was built as a private facility, and then we turned it into a public facility.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're not done with you yet. You have to make someone very happy here. I don't have the plaque, so we do a book plate in elementary school, but since I imagine Samantha has the little book plate, so we will put one in there and we'll make sure you get a copy.
Oh, thank you.
Just one.
Just one?
One person happy.
Read the last 3, can you? You want me to read it for you?
I have my glasses.
507.
All right.
All right. John McCarty, okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Oh,
Come on up, John.
John.
Come on up, John.
You must just stay up there.
Yes. You want to inspect?
I don't see it. Oh, there it is.
I push it in the corner. Well, okay, that counts as
Two, yeah,
technically
there we
two.
go.
2 and
All
1,
right.
very good.
Did you give him his $10?
Oh,
$10 to go to the Floyd's.
I always forget.
Okay.
So did he.
Well, with that, would you please stand and recite the things we think, say, and do? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Go out and change the world today.